Sunday Chirps. You got a guy
Yeah, it's us.
like me for your pod,
Hell yeah.
dude. Holy shit,
Gotta.
we're like doing the same thing, except your pod has like 3 times the followers that mine has.
It really doesn't. I mean, I don't know like exactly on the viewership right now, but like between platforms, we're probably getting like 30 listens an episode. It's really nothing substantial.
Yeah.
I actually have like a production company, like a small little one, where we have Overtime Chicks too. I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
Overtime Chicks
Oh,
as
for
well.
sure I have. If I imagine you're ready to rock here, so let me just quickly do a little intro for you. Um, yeah, everybody, this is episode 127 of the Canadian Talk podcast. Today we have Jarrod Pine on the show. Um, he is. You have several things going on. You have a golf apparel company. I'm not sure if that's a sponsor or if that's yours. Primo Golf Apparel. You have a podcast called Sunday Chirps, which is the best fucking name ever. I love it. And Penalty Box Productions. Pretty cool, man. Multifaceted.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, Primo is it's a company we partner with for the golf apparel. We actually did just launch some merchandise, not really golf apparel, just like merch, kind of like what you're rocking and what I have on right now. So I just like at penaltyboxpro.com. But basically, yeah, started Penalty Box Productions like a few months ago. I don't know if you want me to go like a quick little
Yeah, man.
about
I
me.
want you to talk about whatever you want.
Fucking rights, love it. But yeah, basically started that a little while back. I had a production company reach out to me for Sunday Chirps. We're not nearly as many podcasts as you, but we're nipping at the heels a bit. It'll be number 99 coming up this week,
That's
which is
sick.
exciting.
You do a new one every week?
Yeah, I try to just about. We missed a few weeks here and there, but
So you
more or less.
mostly, from what I watched, like I've seen quite a few of them, but I watched the one of your clips where the guy thought that the ladies hockey players, that the top ladies hockey players would beat the lowest level men's hockey players in NHL versus PWHL. I was kind of stunned, but I can see why that clip got so many views.
Oh yeah, he got peppered with comments
Yeah.
there.
So basically, what you do is you have your main podcast, Sunday Chirps, where I've seen a lot of them where you partner with their names, the Overtime Chicks,
Mhm.
and then the other times you do them with your buddies. Or is there ever any times where you do them solo, or is it always just kind of you?
Yeah, it's always, I mean, I've been in every one, but it's kind of progressed throughout the years. So year one was really, I'd say the first 6 months, it was me and my buddy Max. We started, it was NHL. It was right in the heat of things. I was living in Fort Lauderdale. The Panthers were on their first run against Vegas back in 23. And we were talking all things hockey. And kind of what I found was I was still working a day job.
Yeah.
I don't have time to be following every trade, every speculation, every in and out. Like I can't be that analyst on every single thing. So I found that I wanted to be a little bit more dialed back. Like I kind of play beer league hockey, play golf. So it kind of turned in from like a hockey analyst kind of thing to more of just like I don't know if you played hockey growing up, but like in the
Oh hell
locker
yeah!
room. Yeah, so basically like you crack open a cold beer in the locker room with the boys and you're just shooting the shit. And that's really what it turned into. It's just like a locker room talk. We talk hockey, golf, shoot the shit. Did we get blitzed at the bars last night? Um, just kind of stuff like that. And that's what it's really turned into. Um, which is awesome. And it definitely takes the heat off for like all the research. And we'll bring guests on every week. So it started off with me and my buddy Max. He ended up dropping off. I brought in 3 new guys, and 2 guys ended up dropping off. And then I was out of the bar, I want to say about a year and change ago. And I ran into this girl. She's wearing like an Arizona. I was in Scottsdale. She had an Arizona Coyote shirt on. So I started talking to her about hockey. And she worked for the Coyotes at the time. And we just like kind of hit it off, and I got her number. Like nothing happened for like 5, 6 months. I was like, yo, come on the pod. So she came on the pod. She snapped it around, and I was like, yo, come on again. And now she's a regular host on it. Um, Fast forward to Overtime Chicks, maybe 6, 7 months ago. Um, I just reached out to her. I was like, yo, come on the pod. And we kind of hit it off. She was with a production company prior, and she was like, yo, they want you to come on and be part of their family. I was like, oh, that's sick. Like, let me take a call from them. And I'm not going to name any names of the company, but I basically talked to them. They had no value props. Um, I was like, why would I even come on board? Like, you're not going to help me grow. They're just going to put the podcast out itself, which is like, I already do it. It's not hard. That's like the easiest thing, just putting it out on the internet. They're not going to like pull clips, not going to help with sponsorships. I was like, I don't understand the value that would make me go over there, and also the value for them. Like, what is it really helping them? So I'm talking to her about this, and she's like, "Oh, like I don't know." I was like, "What if I start my own? I help get you sponsorships, and we grow together." And she's like, "Let's do it." So now Overtime Chicks is kind of like in the penalty box production family, and you've got Overtime Chicks is hockey, and then Sunday Chirps is the idiots shooting the shit every week.
Oh, nice.
But
That
yeah, you'll have to come on at some point if you're down.
absolutely 100%. Yeah, sorry if I looked a little distracted there. My fucking phone settings. I just did that new update. I don't know if you have an iPhone or a Android, and now my screen's timing out. So I'm trying to have my list in front of me here. So I was just trying to go to the settings to fucking change this timeout thing because it keeps turning off. Not that I have that many questions on this list for you, but yeah, man, you have your stuff so organized and so regimented. I kind of am jealous of it. Like,
No.
although you do have all these different branding things, like the only thing I'd be afraid of is having too many different things. But I guess at the end of the day, if they cost zero to make, why not have as many as possible? Like Tom Segura, you know Tom Segura?
Yeah.
Like somebody could easily say, "Oh yeah, he has too many podcasts," but yeah, I mean, the guy's the biggest podcaster in the world. So,
Yeah, he's a funny bastard too. He
oh
really
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah, man. Podcasting is sick. I think it's what. So yeah. So what exactly got you into it? Like, tell me when you started. How long have you been doing it? And then what got you into it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess to rewind back, always been golfing my whole life. I don't know if you followed like GM Golf or Good Good or Bob Does Sports at all. If you're familiar.
The
Yeah.
second one and the third one. Yeah, Bob does sports and good, good.
Yeah.
I like
So
Grant Horvat a lot as well. I just
oh
watched
yeah.
his episode with Scotty Scheffler. Man, I'm not gonna lie. Did you see that one yet?
I haven't. I gotta watch it.
He got Scotty on, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe this is already like known stuff. If there's already a lot of content like this, but to be able to the YouTube golfing where they have the cameras right there, you get to not only watch the shots but watch them discuss the shots at length before they make them, like
Yeah.
unedited. Dude, I learned so much. Like it made me feel like I was a little bit of a weak golfer because I do tons of analysis before I hit a shot. Like sure, I toss the grass, I check the wind, I do stuff like that, but the level of which that they were analyzing each given shot was sick. Like let me try to think of a couple of my mind is blank because you know what's annoying is I just had like some issues with a tenant of mine, so it's got my mind all over the place today. So I'm having troubles like focusing on the fucking podcast today. But like so basically like they were like talking about grass types. They were talking about like um
Grain.
grain in the grass. They were talking about punch and then he knew so like I'm not a landscaper really, but like
Yeah.
I know they punch the greens. I know they roll like compression rollers over them, but I don't have an idea of, okay, how long ago did they punch them and how will that affect the roll? Like Scotty
Yeah.
knew all of that down to the day and and stuff like that. Yeah, I can't think of anything else, but oh my God, man. What an
Yeah. It's like when
amazing
you chip, it's nuts. It totally everything's different. Like if you chip into green versus down green, like it's faster. Like downhill. If you're like even like with like the grain is such like a thing that we don't think about. If you're chipping on Bermuda versus Kentucky bluegrass, if you're into the grain on the Bermuda chipping, it's gonna grab your club a bit more. If you're down green, it's gonna slip. It's nuts.
Yeah, and another thing that they were talking about was with hitting out of the rough. They had this term that they were talking about that it was like,
Liar
okay,
lie,
say that again.
liar lie.
No, not that one, but
Oh,
they were saying, okay, is the ball going to knuckle out of this lie? Like, and I had never heard that before, so I looked it up and I was like, shit, okay, I need to pay more attention to that because usually, but the thing is honestly, except for when I'm in tournaments, most of the golf that I play, I kind of do lift,
live clean
repair
in
and
place.
replace. So that's probably why I don't run into that as much. If I'm in the rough, I'm almost always fluffing that ball up. Like I don't know about you, but
I feel that. I'll do that most of the time. You're playing like tournaments and stuff,
yeah,
like am tour stuff.
yeah. I'm
Oh yeah,
getting
that's
into the
sick.
amateur tour stuff. I mean, I'm about honestly, I'd say that I'm about a 2 or a 3 handicap. I
Oh,
wouldn't
you're
want to claim
sick.
scratch, and that's from, dude, that's 2 or 3 handicap. We're not talking from like second tips. We're talking from the tips. That's all I play is from the very back, and I can shoot basically par every round. Like just yesterday, I just shot a 73. It was at a
Dude, you're
municipal.
sick at golf.
Thank you,
You're
man.
sick.
Yeah,
Um,
it was at a municipal course, but so still though, I lost a couple strokes on the shittiness of the green for that. So in a sense, I could have been under par, but that's probably why I was missing my goddamn birdie putts. Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I love the episodes with the overtime chicks. It seems like they're popular. Like they definitely know uh, a lot of stuff. They have a lot of interesting things to talk about. Um, and the one girl, what did I do? I commented on one of the videos, and then she replied, and she was like, "Oh, it's not that hard." But like, I've tried to get on Raya before, and I'm not on
Oh,
Raya.
Emma.
Yeah, yeah, she's on Raya. I was like, "How fucking is this girl a celebrity? What the fuck?"
Yo, I don't get that's the girl I met at the bar in Scottsdale.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's Emma. So, but I don't get it. Like, obviously she's good looking, like no doubt, but she's got NHL players just sliding her DMs left and right, and I don't know. I really don't know. She's not a celebrity,
yeah.
and she works for the Coyotes. She's on the Raya, so people from there, but like, yeah, like she has no business with NHL All Stars just sliding in her
Yeah,
DMs
I think that
so
that's how you
casually.
become female like royalty. Is once you got NHL players sliding into your DMs. That's I think that's like a girl. It makes you a queen as a girl. I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's winning. I wish I had NHL players sliding in my
We
DMs,
need
and
those
not
PW.
even gay.
We need
Just
the
like it'd be sick.
yeah. We need the PWHL players sliding into our DMs. That's what we need. Just got to
That's what
get
I'm
it.
saying.
Yeah, we got to send them some merch from your golf company, maybe, and then maybe they'll be into it.
Twist my arm.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
some of like the Dallas Ice Girls. I don't know.
oh
Wouldn't
yeah,
be
some of
opposed.
them. Even that. That would be male real royalty right there.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
so we were getting into more of a details about like what inspired you to become to get into podcasting and what you see some of the functionality of it is and stuff like that for you. So if you don't mind giving me some more details there, unless I
Yeah.
forgot and you already told me, I can't remember.
No. We got totally derailed. So I was gonna say the golf. So it all started with YouTube Golf. Was a big fan of that. So good. One of the main members is Garrett Clark. So I used to watch his stuff when I was younger. When he first started, maybe in like 2000, like 17, 2018, I'd watch his golf videos. He was like 5,000
How old are you?
subscribers. I'm 23.
Sick, man. Oh my god, you're a genius. I think you might be a genius, dude. Good for you.
Pump
You're
my
so young.
tires.
You're so young. I'm 32. I've been doing the pod since I was I guess 25. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Joe Rogan
8 years?
inspired me though. I'm like a fucking basic story. Joe Rogan inspired me, and then I just started doing it. Yeah,
No, you got something. Yeah, I mean, basically, so how it started was I was watching the golf content. I loved his stuff, so I want to do the same thing. So back in 2021, I started making the golf videos. And honestly, like, I didn't have the editing experience. I just like the banter on the golf course. I felt like hockey guys could just snap it around like much more, and that was the value. But I really, between school and work, it was just too much at the time. So I've kind of been doing that on and off, but the podcast is easier from a output and editing standpoint. I found like I leave them almost uncut, if not uncut totally, and so I just like snapping around with the guys. Like I feel like it's like a fun thing. Like I'm gonna snap around with the guys anyway. Might as well just record it and put it out there.
yeah, for sure. If I could
And
just
I'll
stop you real quick, couple
yeah
couple questions I had for you as you were going. What did you go to school for? The bleeder there on your nose. It looks like something that would happen from a visor of like a helmet. Was that from hockey?
yeah, it was actually from hockey from a visor. Yeah, like last week I like took a hit
I
and it
hate when
just
that happens.
crunched me in the nose. Like the helmet slipped down and just
Where
cracked me. Yeah.
where are you from? And like your hockey, how far did you go in hockey? I I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, up here in Canada. Famously, Saskatchewan produces more NHL players per capita than anywhere in the world. So I'm a pretty good player. Obviously I know a ton of guys in the NHL, and not just guys like the best guys. And I could say I almost made it to the NHL, but that might be a bit of a stretch. I played one league below it here in Canada. I played in the Western League, and I
That's
played
sick.
AAA and all top all the way. And I almost made the World Juniors. You know the World Juniors, I assume.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
dude. Did you watch it this year? I thought the refing was fucking atrocious. But before we say that, where are you from? Are you American?
Yeah, American. I'm from Long Beach, New York. I'm from New York, so a little beach town off the coast. Probably like I'm like an hour drive from Manhattan, like for New
Sick.
York City.
Very cool.
And I didn't make it that far, like WHL or anything. I wouldn't sniff the league there. I played
AHL.
hot.
I think the equivalent in US would be AHL, or do you guys have something different now?
I think nowadays, so basically, the WHL is kind of like that's it would be fun, but the way AHL structured is different. It's probably like the WHL and the OHL. Those are probably comparable to like we have those in the US, but really it's like those are really like NCAA Division 1 college. Like
Yeah,
now
younger.
people want to go.
Because the kids in those leagues, sorry to interrupt. That's the worst part about video podcasting. It's tough, but I can tell you're good at it, like taking turns. Yeah, WHL's young guys. Hey,
Yeah.
and sorry, continue. I was just going to say that's why probably
No,
it's like NCAA, and then AHL. Do they have an older age limit? Is that what you're trying to say?
no, I mean AHL is really like when you get drafted in the NHL and you get sent to the minors. That's what the AHL is. No one really gets drafted.
Oh,
You don't start in the AHL or even below the AHL is the ECHL. But those are all affiliates of the NHL. You have to really go through one first.
oh, I
It's
see.
really gonna be more. There's like the NAL. There's like the NAHL or the USHL in the US. That'd be kind of more similar. The WHL is probably a stronger league, or the even the OHL.
Yeah, that's probably why you
But
don't see too much of the AHL like coverage or anything. Because I feel like all the players in there are like they're ashamed. They're like, "Fuck, I got released from my team. I gotta figure it out."
it's still top tier. Like the AHL teams would batter any WHL,
Oh,
OHL.
I know. Yeah, I'm not saying they wouldn't. I'm just saying like,
Yeah,
the players in there might not be as proud.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I mean, still, I mean, you're probably like imbalancing between the NHL and the AHL, but the NCAA Division 1 hockey, that's where like now, if you play in the WHL, you have eligibility. You're gonna see in the next year or so, WHL players they're gonna play their year at the WHL or two, however many years they want to play, or three, and then go play 1 year Division 1 hockey in the United States, and then play the NHL. So like you'll get
yeah.
drafted from
My
the
buddy. No, I can't say my buddy, but we played in Notre Dame for a little while together. Jaden Schwartz.
yeah.
He did that, and everybody was criticizing him at the time. They're like, "Oh, he's just listening to his dad. He says that he's got to go to university before he can play in the NHL." Because we all knew his brother played on Colorado. I forget his older brother's name, but we knew he was going. He was in my youth. Him and one other guy were probably the sickest players I ever seen in the teenager years. Like
Yeah.
I've never seen a player as good as Schwartz. He was sick, and but the Shens were sick too. But they were sick because they had the stature and they had the skill, sort of. But Schwartz was on another level.
Yeah. Yo, honestly, what you're gonna see, first of all, yeah, Schwartz unbelievable. You're gonna see that in the US, you have the USHL and the NAHL. In Canada, you have like the Q, the O, and the WHL. Those are all gonna feed into Division 1 hockey now in the US. So you're gonna get drafted out of those. That's I think what's more or less gonna happen, unless you go straight to college, is you're gonna get drafted by an NHL team and they're gonna say, unless you're unfucking believable like Bedsy or even Celebrini could have done it, but or like McDavid, obviously.
Nugent Hopkins
You
could have done it.
who Nugent?
Oh yeah, I played with him
Yeah,
too. He's also good. He was the other guy that I was talking about.
that's sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all gonna go play 1 year after they get drafted in college,
yeah,
just develop and grow, and
yeah.
then go to the NHL.
Which makes sense because a couple things I want to say there. Yeah, my one I played at the Max tournament. It's a big AAA tournament in Calgary. I played with Nugent Hopkins there, and I was on the second line, so I didn't get to play much against him because he was on the first line, obviously. But he was out there all game, so I got to do quite a few shifts against him. And I remember one time I went into the corner with him. I was on my back so quickly because like I had never really learned a lot of the tricks of hockey, like, and he was just perfect at them. Like he kind of gave me a little. We were going into the corner. I was like, "Okay, I'm first here." I beat him to the puck because I was a speedster,
Mhm.
and he just gives me kind of a little kick to the back of my skate. Fucking gone. I'm on my ass. He's gone with the puck. Odd man rushed the other way. I was like, "Fuck, he got me," and and then shit. What was that? What was I just talking about? I got distracted.
College hockey,
Yeah.
your
Do you
buddy
think that there's
Nugent.
yeah, do you think that there's a chance that the draft age should maybe be a year or two older? Like, do you think that 15, 16 is a bit too young?
That's only for the like the dub and the O.
Yeah.
That's not
Do you
the
think
NHL is 18.
do you think that that's too young?
I I mean, like the thing is, yes and no. What I would argue is that like the way it's structured is you get drafted, and then you go play 1 year of college hockey or WHL, NAHL, whatever league, and then you play your when you're 19. That's kind of just how it's structured, which it makes sense. I feel like to me. I mean, maybe you just want to draft them at 19 then instead.
Yeah,
Like I
but
don't
there's so
know.
many guys like Ginla, for example, but there's so many guys that maybe they don't fully grow until they're like 19, and I can imagine how many guys get passed over on because they're not fully mature yet at like 16, 17.
Yeah, no, I mean that's true. I mean that's junior more than like the NHL. You have to be it's usually you're 17 or 18. But I agree. I feel like it should be 18 or 19. Not that I was going to the show. Like I played like double and triple A hockey my whole life. But like I was when I was 18, I was like 5'7",
Yeah.
150, and then at 20, I was 5'10", 200. Like definitely a
Exactly.
bit different.
Exactly. That's kind of my point. Like, I see what you're saying to do with how the development is, but like a lot of guys get left behind because you have to start getting seen and get developed. But you're right, though. I mean, it's not like there isn't opportunities. I mean, if you're a good player, you're going to have 50 letters to go play at every college you want to play at, and then you can continue to develop. But there's just such a risk there when you're like 16, 17 to like take the plunge if you haven't been properly identified yet. So I've always saw that as a bit of an issue, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong because
No, I think you're honestly onto something
yeah,
because then all these players like yo like 18 like he wouldn't be in NHL caliber like maybe he's a late round um draft but then all of a sudden he grows 3 4 inches because guys develop tend to be later puts on 20 pounds over the summer and at 19 he's 6'2", 210 and he's a fucking beast and then
exactly.
all of a sudden like we just missed him. I guess you could sign him but
Yeah,
maybe there should be like an ECHL draft every year. Like that'd be two below AHL. And you have like your scouts that are just hunting these like late picks that you want to throw in the farm system and just develop and you can just move them up.
yeah, yeah. That would work, man. So anyway, just to change topics because I want to talk about this a lot. The World Juniors this year. Um, Remind me who USA won gold.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's not 2 years in a row though. I think we
it
won
is two
last.
years in a
Is
row.
that 2 years in a row? Man, I've got a fucking just a bee in my bonnet about that shit, dude. I because Canada used to just crush the World Juniors, and US has been. It's just proving that their development has just been better than ours in the last little while. But what my thing is, what I like to say is, I think that part ever since we had liberal governments in Canada and they legalized weed nationally, all our kids are fucking smoking weed when they're 15, and our youngins just aren't as good as they used to be. That's what I blame it on. But I don't know why Canada has been doing so bad in the World Juniors. But honestly, this year I found more excuses, and I do feel that I think that the international refs, like I feel like the international refs, the Finnish, the Swedish refs, they need to I think be required to attend conferences where they can, because the hockey there must be different than it is
It's
here.
different. So different.
They're so good at they it's like they're almost taught or they almost practice drawing calls. Like, to me, hockey is not fucking soccer.
No.
Drawing calls or diving is a shameful thing, and
Shame.
shameful, but yet you saw it almost weaponized in this year's World Juniors.
They're watching too much European soccer instead of North American hockey.
I know, right? And that
I
was
agree.
it really got to me, but not only just the weak calls, but the timing of them. Like, I'm just remembering like one of Canada's last games there where I think I think did we lose in the bronze medal game? I'm not sure if we even got a medal but
I don't remember.
I lost so much money, dude. I'm a horrible sports bettor. I mean, I'm happy to have the opportunity that I have money to at least lose, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, I've been betting on the World Juniors and been losing for the past 2 years. I'm probably 1,800 in the hole, about 900 per year. So I've
Oof.
lost on the World Juniors. Just a joke, but it's always the reffing, and it's like they'll give us like a 4 minute double minor when there's 6 minutes left in the game for the weakest little slash ever. And it's like, come on,
Yeah.
whatever happened to the refs putting their whistles away in the final 10 minutes of the third period? Whatever happened to that kind of stuff?
The game has changed so much. Like even like I'm still quite young, but like when I was growing up, like even watching like '05, '06, '07, '08, like all those years with those Red Wings that were just unbelievable. They were so physical, so much finesse. Like I coach hockey now, and it's not like I'm trying to teach more like hitting, how to properly like the angle of the play and like just simple basics. And these kids just want to like the toe drag release like Bedard, like it's such a different game where it's a lot more finesse. And it used to be like get the puck in deep, hammer him against the wall. Like you're
Yeah.
fucking. It's changing.
Yeah, that's my new gripe with some of the younger kids now too, in terms of the style of play. Is like the old selfish hockey would have been like the guy who's always taking it in, I guess, and doing an individual effort straight to the net. But now, and I think it's almost worse because a lot of the times you have a turnover. Now like you said, you see these Bedard guys who they come over the blue line and they shoot. They come over like you don't. The best play isn't always to shoot from the top of the blue line. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
get it deep and set up a cycle. Like whatever
exactly.
happened to that, boys?
100%. And just to go back on the development, I think one of the things the U.S. has done really well in the last 20 years is they've put together like the National Development Program. So basically, I think from 14 or 15 on, they'll bring in like the best 30 kids in the country. They all go to Michigan and they train together as a team every year. So they're building together that National Development Program, and you put the best 30 players, and they're basically playing games, playing against like OHL, QMHL teams, QMJHL, or like NAL, USHL, and they're just developing our best players on top of all the programs throughout the US.
Yeah, it's all about
And
getting
that's
it's all about getting all the players together when they're young, all the best guys. We have that
yeah,
too, but I think we had it before you, and that might have been now that you have it also. That might be why you guys caught up. But we have a thing called Sask First, which that was what I played to almost make the World Juniors as well. But yeah, I think that's probably the same kind of a structure. Top 90 players in the country, basically get them all together, get them scrimmaging and playing against each other every day. And that's the trick. That's the trick. But I'm curious. I don't think we got around to it. What do you do for? What did you do for in school?
yeah. So I was a history major in school. I wasn't gonna do anything with it, but I just wanted to get my degree. I worked like full time doing sales during school, so I was doing sales and I was trying to run that YouTube channel at the time, and then also, get into, I was in fraternity, so enjoying some parties and some ladies,
Cool. Cool.
yeah,
I love history, but I only started liking it a lot more later. There's so many interesting things about history. The problem is it's just that the knowledge sometimes isn't the most functional things. Like it's not the most pragmatic knowledge. It's not necessarily going to
yeah,
help you, but it is cool stuff to know. It's good for a podcast because then you know all these little facts and stuff.
little tidbits here and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, you got to know the tidbits. I mean, that's Shane Gillis he also has a history degree, and I think that's what people like about him a lot is he knows so much about history. You go and you watch a podcast, you're laughing, but you're also learning about history.
100%. Yeah, let me ask you something real quick.
For
So
sure.
I have not been to Timmy Ho's,
Okay.
but so I know people like the comparison they make is the Dunkin' Donuts, which by the way, not a huge fan of Dunkin' Donuts. How does Tim Ho's coffee and the Timbits stack up to the Dunkin'? Have you been to both?
I've been to both. Tim Hortons is not all it's cracked up to be, and what happened is actually an American company owns it now. Burger King bought out the Tim Hortons
Oh,
chain, I think, a few years back. And ever since then, things definitely got a little bit lower quality. The coffee's good, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not as good as McDonald's coffee. I don't really drink coffee though, so I'm probably not the best judge for coffee. And I don't eat
yeah.
donuts either. I'm not trying to come off as a fucking Mr. Health Nut here, but I just don't.
Yo, I'm
I
on the
think
same wavelength as you.
I
But I
just
think the same thing.
I drink too much beer to be also eating sweets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah, even Dunkin', like people rave about Dunkin' Donuts, especially like the like Massachusetts, the Boston people, like, 'cause that's where it's kind of from. It's so not the best. Although if Dunkin' wants to sponsor the pod,
Then they're the
all of a
best.
sudden,
They're the best donuts in the whole world. Yeah.
nah. But honestly, like, I love just going like if I'm gonna go get coffee or like donuts, I go to mom and pop shops. Like if I'm wherever I'm at, like I'd rather go to the local little business, get
Yeah.
the
It's
whatever.
just hard sometimes to pay $6 for a donut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, six
So
bucks for a donut?
oh, I mean, man, we have those little mom and pop shop donut places too, but they're just so overpriced. Don't get me wrong, the
Oh,
donuts are miles better, but like still, I don't know, a
I'm also
$9. They're dude, $6 was an underestimate. The donuts are a lot of times are $9 or $12 at these fancy places. Not that our dollar is very valuable anymore, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I trying to think. I mean, I'm not like a sweets guy either. I've been trying to dial it in on like the eating clean fruits. I don't know if you've seen like this animal based stuff, but I'm like big into like all that nowadays.
All I eat is steak and eggs basically
Fuck yeah.
every day. I'm curious so you're a hockey player. What kind of a hockey player are you? What was your positions that you played? I know you can probably play all the positions if you're a AAA guy, but what positions do you play and what's your strengths? What kind of a player are you?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, changed over the years. I was always, for a good part of my career, I was like an offensive defenseman,
Yes.
kind of like a really shitty Eric Carlson, maybe.
I should have fucking guessed before I asked you because I honestly was gonna guess that. I can see it in your face that you're a defenseman, kind of a two-way guy.
But yeah, I played everything really. Honestly, in beer league lately, they've been putting me at winger just to go put some goals and kind of be a goal scorer. But it's
Yes.
like I'm playing against like I'm in like a few different leagues and like each one is so different. Like I joined like an absolute dog shit team, so like they'll have me play like as a Ovechkin winger where like
Yeah.
I'm playing in like some shitty division. Like oh yo, we got this
Yeah.
guy to go score like 3 4 goals a
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. There's
But
nothing better than feeling like an all-star in the beer leagues, dude. I love that. Yeah, I play a lot of leagues like that too, where I got to be the all-star for the boys. But even just the mediocre hockey here in Saskatchewan is so strong. Um, you know.
I'm sure. It is also just so different. Like Long Island, like that's where I live. The hockey, like I could go play like in this like E League, which is like low and crappy, and like we're still losing. I'll score 4 goals a game, and like we'll lose like 6-5, and I'm like I don't really know what
Yeah.
else I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. But
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 then
the chill in the dressing room after that, where all the boys are like, "Fuck, if we could
yeah,
all play like Jarrod, then we would be winning."
so they're pumping the tires.
Yeah.
But other leagues too, they'll be like real solid. Like I'm playing one tonight. It's like a back from college league. So all these like D3, probably a little bit of D2 and like top club hockey. So it'll be like some really solid hockey. Probably I don't know, I want to say not O level by any means. Probably like guys that like washed up, played like fourth line in like the O when they were like 17 and now they're washed. That's probably kind of where the league is at. Probably and really just washed up AAA players, some back from college, so should be pretty solid hockey.
Yeah. What kind of skates do you got?
Yo, honestly, I actually have the wildest story for skates. It's so funny you asked, but I have them in the car.
Let's
I
hear it.
have like
Yeah, skates and then stick. I want to see what you're rocking. Not see it.
so
I want
this
to hear about it.
yeah, so the skates I'm rocking like the Power Vapor X700s from years ago, but I actually really need new skates. So I'd mentioned it to like a couple of the guys in the team. I went to go to Pure Hockey. They didn't have anything in my size. I need like a 10 and a half skate, which is like on the bigger side.
Yeah.
And so they only the top of the line skate, which I didn't. It was too stiff. I didn't like it, and they also wanted like 2 grand. And I'm like, this is outrageous. And I mentioned to a buddy, he's like, dude, like wild story. Nathan McKinnon's skates just ended up on my front porch in Long Island last week. I don't know where they came from. Open box, just on his doorstep, size 10 3/4. Like, do you want them? I was like, yes.
Fuck
So
yeah.
I'm gonna go to Pure Hockey after this pod and put. It didn't come with blades, but I have Nathan McKinnon's third set of the CCM 70K skates. So my new wheels are Nathan McKinnon skates. Thank you, Nate Dog.
That's sick, man. I would have a tough time wearing them though, and not like putting them in a box and up on the shelf somewhere. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. I don't know.
See if you can get that blonde girl. I'm sorry, what was the girl's name again? The blonde girl.
Emma,
See if you can get Emma to get them signed for you and that by Nathan, and then put them up on the shelf somewhere.
that'd be unreal.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, but who needs the petty cash for that? I mean, I guess it would be better to wear them. Maybe you'll get like a boost out of it.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
a little boost and be like, oh yeah, they were game worn by him. I don't think they've been worn by him, but
Still. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
still unbelievable.
Yeah. Then
I don't know.
what kind of twig do you like?
Honestly, it's so random. I buy the cheapest stick around whatever, like the lowest Bauer CCM, whatever's like the 70 or $80. That's what I buy because I break them so much,
Oh, fair enough.
even in beer league. So, but like I'll break it in warranty, and then they're like, "Oh, we don't have your shitty stick. We sell you. We give you the top of line stick." I'm like, "Yeah, that'll work."
Oh yeah. No, I've been man, what have I gone through? I used to like Easton sticks, and then I got into the CCMs for a while when they were
Hmm.
doing the U plus. I loved it. I think that they were ahead of the game in the grips. Like I used to really like the grip that they
Oh
had
yeah,
on the
have to have the grip tack
U
now.
plus, and I didn't like the way the Bauer was doing their grips. It just wasn't as good. And then you know what
Hmm.
I'm on now though is, and again they're $450, but
Yeah,
I do love the true sticks. They are so
I
sticky.
like the true.
They're so light, and I don't break them that often. I don't know why, but I need a really light stick. Like I'll usually go for whatever the lightest stick is because I do a lot of one man rushes, kind of dangling in there and scoring, and I need that light stick to be a little bit quicker. I'm
100%.
not as quick as I used to be. I What kind of injuries have you had? Like I my only injury, and it wasn't necessarily career ending, but it kind of was, like, because I was just getting going in the dub, and then I got a pretty severely separated shoulder with the
Oh,
weirdest thing ever. I didn't even fall on it like that. I had my arm up and I fell this way and I separated my shoulder. And and what's annoying is I'm a lefty, like not left-handed, but I'm a left stick,
shooter.
and so
Yeah,
that's my bottom hand. So my quickness for like my finishes, where you're on a breakaway or whatever, and you deke once to the side and you give her a little to the top shelf
yeah.
or whatever. I got so much slower at that. I felt like my scoring touch just disappeared after I got the.
Damn.
It was fine, honestly, until I got the surgery to fix it. They took like a ligament out of my leg and they put it in my shoulder to pull it back up and hold it. They drilled a hole through my something in my shoulder and then strung the ligament through there
Mhm.
to hold it up. And man, probably the worst decision of my life. Like I was hoping that the surgeon guy was like, "Oh no, it won't affect the leg, and you'll be totally fine. Your body will strengthen up the other supporting tendons." Not a chance. Like I exercise all the time, I run all the time, and the leg is just not the same.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yo, honestly, I'm dealing with like a lot of injuries right now.
yeah. What do you got?
I Right now, like I have a partial tear in my left bicep to my left shoulder. I did the same thing. Someone clipped me in hockey, didn't even hit me, and just kind of like knocked the shoulder a bit, and then I dove like that too, and I separated my shoulder,
Oh
and
shit.
still haven't had anything done on it. It's been about a year. It's definitely gotten better, but like I like to surf, I like to run, I like to play hockey, and
Yeah,
it's been fucked
yeah.
since.
Now
And the back of my right knee too right now.
Perf, that's awesome. Yeah, and you know what? Now that I look at it too, yeah, I can see that it droops a bit. If I could recommend anything, and I guess you don't have free healthcare there, but because like I got mine for free, but if I could recommend anything, man, unless is it making a grinding sound? Like when you move it around, does it kind of make a
It pops a bit, yeah,
Okay. Well, man, depending on how debilitating yours is, I would recommend don't get any reconstructive surgeries. Just leave it until
yeah,
it gets, I don't know what else the other option is, but just leave it and go as long as you can on the good shoulder. Because before you know it,
yeah,
you're going to be 40 or 45, and you'll be like, then it'll be a little bit fucked. But then you're kind of more done your career, rather than
yeah,
doing the surgery and kind of just fucking yourself for a good 10 years. I wouldn't
yeah.
I wouldn't recommend getting any surgeries.
No, I need to get MRI for it though. But the doctor I originally went to, I think he also had played hockey, and he was saying that he wanted to do what is it called PRP, which is they basically draw my blood, they spit it in a centrifuge, and then they inject the platelets right into the injury, and it'll help stimulate it.
Yeah,
And I'll take some supplements too. Like I've been on like alpha lipoic acid, like
yeah,
all these builders.
yeah. Because Um, yeah, I mean, if you can somehow get stem cells, that might be what to do. Get some stem cell injections. Another one that I used to do while it was back in the old way, while I was still playing, because I was still playing in the higher leagues, and I didn't
Mhm.
get the surgery. The surgery I got when I was in my mid 20s. Um, I used to do this ultrasound thing where they would because what ends up happening is you end up having a lot of what do you call it, scar tissue around
Yeah.
the area because it's not functioning perfectly. And these little zappers that they do, I guess it's ultrasound or something, it burns away all the scar tissue and it helps a lot. Like if you can look into that, I know they just do it at like basic physio places, but I would say
Yeah.
that or stem cells if you can find a way to go to Mexico and get some cheap stem cells. I don't know. They might just inject
Seriously.
you with fucking baby poop. I'm not sure.
I want to get what's it called? I want to get more dialed in with. I'd love to, like, I want the MRIs done so I could get like PT. I think PT, like physical therapy, and I got the cold plunge at home now. The cold plunge has been beautiful for my full body recovery. Like my back is always like sore. I have to stretch every morning, and yoga. I gotta start doing yoga.
Hell yeah, dude. I yoga's so good. I do yoga every day. I do hot yoga. As gay as it is. But the thing is, though, is it's like people think that yoga's gay, but
It's
honestly,
not gay.
it's the opposite of gay. You're going to a gym with that's 90% girls. What other gym could you go to where there's 90% kind of babes, and it's just like you
Yo,
get to go work out, and it's just
I
like
would never pigeon toss someone for the yoga. Maybe when I was younger, but like, yo, I'm like trying to tell my boys, like, yo, we gotta go to yoga. I'm like,
yeah,
there are hot girls, and like my body needs the yoga to stretch. Like, I know your stiff ass is not stretching every day.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah, I'm right with you. Yo,
yeah,
that's the spot. I don't
yeah,
know if you're single, but like, I feel like I'm chasing birds at the bar.
yeah,
Like, way higher quality girl at the 7 a.m. yoga
yeah,
than it is at the bar when she's shit faced. Like, what?
for sure, for sure. Meet a girl at yoga, dude. That's the way to do it. Yeah,
I'm not even join Pilates, and that's, if anything, that's got to be a little bit more soft than
yeah,
yoga.
yeah. Pilates though also so good for you. But yeah, I mean, for the back health, there's nothing that compares with yoga. I mean, I've got so many buddies who just they do powerlifting and they're not doing it right, and they just end up.
No,
I've seen it with honestly half a dozen guys where they are like they think they're so tough. It's like, dude, I just deadlifted. You know, I can deadlift 400, 500 pounds. It's like, okay, cool, man.
great.
But
What are you gonna use that for?
exactly, exactly. So it's like, yeah, but let me see you do like can you do that? Like can you get your
Yeah, and then
arm
like
above your head? Like
they don't even do like abs either. Like they have the weakest core. It's like all like back muscle,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, you could deadlift 450, and then it's like, can you do like 20 sit-ups in a row? And they're like, no. Or
exactly.
like 10-minute run. Can you run at like a steady jog pace for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
It's like how long can you do a plank for? And then so your core is so unbalanced with your back, and then you end up
It's gonna
getting a
throw.
slip disc, and then it's like,
Yeah,
well shit, oh now you're injured. Who saw that coming? Or you end up tearing your pec because you're trying to
yeah.
bench press 290 pounds. It's like,
There's no point. I stopped doing that stuff, like the heavy weights. Like I've been like, first of all, I haven't lifted in like 3 months because my shoulder's been just wrecked. But like I'm still playing hockey and stuff. It's been definitely getting better from not lifting. But I used to do just like lightweight, heavy, ton of reps,
yeah.
and just try to dial it in there.
For sure, man. Yeah, plyometrics, stuff like that. So the
Hundred
question, the
percent.
question of the day: who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup this year?
You know what? I used to live in Florida, so I definitely do have a bias towards Panthers. I don't see a way. Every series, I'm like, yo, the Oilers are not that good. But then you have McDavid and Draisaitl, and it's like, is McDavid gonna lose again? And the answer is no. So I have
This is his
Oilers
year.
by a million.
Yeah, it does feel like this is McDavid's year, especially after he got so close last year. It feels like Edmonton's year.
Yeah, I really do think Edmonton's winning. I don't know if you've seen the little history tidbit here, but 1982, 1983, Gretzky loses in the final, then wins it for the first time the year after. Same two teams play. 08, 09, you've got Crosby versus Red Wings. They lose to Red Wings, play them again the next year. Crosby wins.
Dude,
Fast forward to this year.
it starts the thirst. Hopefully that loss last year for McDavid is going to create a monster, and we can see the next Gretzky. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Oh
yeah. And
God,
speaking of the next Gretzky, here's my hot take. I'm a New York Rangers fan.
of course.
I think your boy McDavid is going to the Rangers in the free agency. But that's my hot
Oh,
take. That's my red hot take.
I do think that he needs to get out of Edmonton. Man, I bet you that you hate salary cap shit then, because I mean, remember back in the day when the Rangers were so strong because they had so much more money than every other team.
Yo,
And I forget when they started the salary cap, like early 2000s.
I think '05 in the lockout it was a hard cap
Man,
then.
I can't believe the lockout was so ridiculous. I can't believe that should happen.
Yeah.
Although I do think that NHL players, relative to other sports, are extremely underpaid. Like you look at baseball or you look at soccer, and it's
Stupid.
like, what the actual fuck? We're not paying our boys enough money here. Like, can we raise the cap a little bit?
Yeah, they're raising it 10 million every year for the next like 3-4 years.
Oh, good. I feel like they were keeping the cap low so that Canadian teams can even compete. I'm not really sure why they would have. It feels that like that way a little bit, like they were just
Mhm.
allowing us to even play with them by keeping
Yeah.
the cap so low.
The tax-free states is definitely hurting a bit too. They all say, "Oh, it doesn't," but like Florida, Texas, Vegas, like they have an advantage. And the weather, it's like, "Oh, would you rather be in Edmonton in the winter or Fort Lauderdale on the beach?" They all. I lived right next to the practice facility. You could literally take your golf cart to the bar and then to the facility. They all just ride golf carts to the facility.
It's
It's
huge.
unbelievable.
It's huge, man. That tax thing that you said too is literally the crux of it all. The no taxes in given states where the NHL players can actually collect all their money is so
Yeah.
huge.
Well,
Yeah,
they still pay federal. They just don't have to pay state, which saves them like 8%, I think, roughly 10%, which
yeah,
is huge. That's like $1 million on most contracts.
exactly. That's like $1 million, man. That's nothing to
Yeah.
scoff at. I mean, I don't know anything about taxes, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't really either. I'm not a CPA by any means. But yo, with the McDavid thing, I want to hear your opinion on this.
Okay.
So the reason I think he's like one, obviously I want McDavid the Rangers because he's the greatest player of my generation. Probably, I think I would say greatest since Crosby. Probably is pretty fair, if not greatest at all. But having him come to New York City, which is arguably the center of the world, like the biggest city, and then it'll help the NHL, not even just the Rangers, where the branding, like McDavid on Broadway, and like displaying him, like he'll get much more well known in the biggest U.S. market because all Canadians know McDavid. But like if I go talk to a random girl on the street in New York City, didn't people don't know like a star hockey player right now. Maybe like Ovechkin, Crosby, or now McDavid. But like if we could really like Times Square, you see McDavid's face. And I don't really agree with all the politics in New York City and a lot of the country, but
He deserves
I think
that.
it'd be amazing for hockey.
Yep.
And the NHL's headquartered in New York City. I think he'd make 18 million, give him whatever amount of money you want to give him. The advertisements he'd make and just his face displayed on Broadway would help the NHL and hockey as a whole grow
Completely agree.
tremendously.
Completely agree. It was like it would be good for the game. Kind of like
Yeah.
how like Rory McIlroy this year, like it was good for golf for him to win the
Yes.
Masters this year. It would be the same kind of a thing for McDavid. Like
McDavid.
he
Yeah.
deserves more clout and more appreciation and stuff like that. Um, Curious, I wouldn't mind your take on this. Yeah. So what do you think? Because dude, Ovi has clearly been fed this whole most goals thing. Like I mean, it's kind of funny to see how many goals he has and how little assists he has. I mean, it's hard to compare him to Gretzky because it's funny. A lot of people look at it and they go, "Well, that's a Russian player for you," but at the same time, it still is an amazing achievement to have the most goals ever. But what
Yeah.
do you think about Ovi? Apparently, I heard, and this might be wrong because I'm not in it with the sports stuff probably as much as you. He's going to play another year.
That's
Like,
what I'm hearing.
can you?
Why would he not? Why
I,
would he not?
true. I guess. I guess. Hey.
He was the number 3 goal scorer in the NHL this year, and he missed like several weeks of broken leg. He's arguably still the best. He's a top 5 goal scorer in the league. I don't want to misconstrue that with the best player in the league, but
It's far
he's
different.
clearly producing.
Yeah, but sometimes, man, and I've seen it on the higher level teams, the production, a lot of the production, especially in terms of goals, comes from power play. And especially if you're that guy that they put in the spot to score the goals, you're going to score the goals. And
Yeah,
sometimes I'd like to see other guys get their opportunities in those spots a little bit quicker, but I get it too. How can you not give it to the legend, you know what I'm saying?
he's also putting asses in seats too. Like if you like,
True.
everyone knows Ovechkin. He's probably top 3 most well-known players in the NHL right now,
Yeah.
maybe 2. Um, So I think from a Washington perspective, they want him. He brings people,
Yeah.
and that all that hype around him breaking the goal record was unreal. Like I have friends like reaching out to me like, "Yo, like Ovechkin gonna be the most like goals scored," and they don't watch a regular season game all year normally. And then all of a sudden, it was must-watch TV every game that he was playing.
Yeah, true enough. You know who I miss? Who was that guy who had the girl take a picture of him in bed? But he's also a legend. But he had that girl snap a picture of him after he banged her or something like that. Even now, I think he has a
That was
super.
Ovi.
No, that's not Ovi. It's
Not
not Ovi.
Ovi?
Here.
Oh, Yager.
Jaeger, yeah, dude. I miss him.
Fucking
I really,
diggity.
I thought he was a great all-around player, even in his older, slower age. I
He's
love the
still
way
playing.
I love the way he handled the puck. I love the way he held his stick with that narrow grip, and he had like the reach on everybody.
Yeah, he's still playing a little bit. He owns a team in Czech Republic, I want to say,
Yeah, he's still
and
going
he'll
hard in
play
the
a little bit.
Yeah, he's still going hard in Czechia for sure.
He's older though. He's I want to say he's 55 this year.
Yeah, yeah,
So
he's
like it'd
old.
be tough.
Another thing I want to mention about the World Juniors that is interesting, right, is the whole Russia thing with how they're being excluded from so much stuff. First off, I can't believe that. That's absolute bullshit. But I do also get really suspicious, and I don't know if you thought of this as well, but like the Czechia team has all of a sudden gotten super, super strong. And it's just clearly that the Russian players are just moving over and playing for Latvia, playing for Czechia, and they're like, it's just trickery. You know what I'm saying? Because how can you
Yeah,
actually keep those young Russian players out? It's not. It's so unfair. So they've got to be finding a way to get them onto some of these junior teams.
never thought of that. I mean, definitely possible. And yeah, I think it's kind of unfair to those players too. It's like these kids are not involved with the politics of it all. Like, why are they getting disparaged? I don't know if that's the right word. Or like getting not allowed in.
It's
It
so unfair.
seems, yeah.
Yeah,
Even the athletes as a whole, like you're punishing the athletes for the politics and the wars within, but like shouldn't like I feel like sports bring people together, which is
exactly.
like
How can we then do that? It makes us look bad for excluding them. It makes us look like we're the ones doing it. And again, I mean, I know you're probably not a political guy, and you're only 23, but I mean, like, to me too, the politics of it is bullshit. I think it's so unfair. I don't know why we've been demonizing Russia so much for so long. Like, they're just trying to be a country. I mean, god damn it. Like, if somebody came and tried to, I've made this analogy a bunch of times, but like, let's say, I mean, the United States kind of wants to take Canada, but like, if they did, or if if somebody came and tried to take Newfoundland from Canada, we would do something about it. And
yeah,
as far as Russia's concerned, Ukraine is a part of their place, and we started getting in there too much and like annoying them. So I think I understand why they'd go and try to take it back. I mean, because like here, I'll just give you a little bit of history and my opinions of the thing, not necessarily if it's all true
hmm
or whatever, but my opinion is that Russia's had an image problem for a long time, and even back to like when everybody always references, oh, Ukraine became their own country, like what was it, like 20 years ago and stuff like that. But I was like, did they though, or did Russia just do that so that we weren't
we
all
would
afraid? Because the whole world's afraid of Russia. They're like, Russia's too big. You know what's crazy, man? And is if you look up Russia's population, it'll come up as like 300 million. But the reality is, and I'm serious about this too. I'm not. This isn't conspiracy theory. I looked it up in the like 2010s, 2015s. I was looking at this shit. Russia has 1 billion people, but for some reason they're pretending to be smaller to appease the West. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you should appreciate that as a history guy. It's kind of
I like
crazy.
that.
Yeah. I really think that that's accurate, but I think that they've had enough of appeasing us to make us think that okay, we're, the West is the world power when we're really not. We depend on so much exports and stuff like that. They have everything they need in their own country.
Yeah,
They don't even need allies. That's the key to their power. They're such a big country. They have everything they
yeah,
need.
yeah. No, I tend to agree. I definitely I would. I don't know exactly where my stance is. I feel like isolationism though has been like we should probably be like. There's been so many things we got involved with that like we're not like the parent for every country around the whole world.
Yeah.
And then with the culture too, even like I know like all the talks about like U.S. taking over Canada or whatever. Like each U.S. state is like would be in Europe if the U.S. was in Europe. You go to Tennessee, it's a different state than New York. And
Yeah.
like even New York City and upstate New York are two different states essentially as far as culture. They
Yeah.
couldn't be further apart. It's probably like Toronto, and then you go drive 2 hours north from Toronto, and it's you go to like farmland and stuff. But like
Yeah.
Toronto is very different.
Yeah, we have that same problem in Canada because it's such a big country, and because you have like Alberta and Saskatchewan, and basically, I was thinking that goddamn Alberta and Saskatchewan might just join the United States, and then the rest can do whatever they want.
Mhm.
But it's completely true how different it is across such a large country. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem with politics affecting hockey. Like even in my own life, I've experienced it. Like, uh, you know, I was on a beer league team, and a bunch of the players on the team were like super gung ho about COVID. They were like, if you're sick, don't come to the game. Like on the group chats before games. Like
Yeah.
I essentially was on this beer league team that I was their best player. None of them could
Mhm.
score. It was hilarious, but I was still the boys. I got removed from this team in a sense because they were complaining about COVID all the time and like, hey, if you're a little bit sick, don't come to the hockey game. They were all getting all self-righteous on the chats like, oh, don't come. And it's like on the one day I just snapped and I was like, hey guys, stop it already.
Yeah.
We get that you have a kid. Like, we're not gonna kill your kid by coming to the hockey game. And and then yeah, I got kicked off the team. Like it's just such the politics are such bullshit.
It's nuts. It's so crazy how I'm not super political again, but like my sister is very left leaning, very liberal. And it's just nuts. All these different people, like they want to snap at you for everything. Like
Yeah, dude.
during COVID.
If I could just interrupt, dude. Yeah, my last podcast was with a super liberal girl, episode 124. Check it out. And if you
I
watch it,
saw some of it.
I talked to her for 2 hours. She would not stop like getting mad about everything. And it's like, and again, I'm not on either side of the political spectrum
Yeah.
either. I'm in the middle. But yet she was so angsty. And it's like, if you could just chill out a little bit, like I'm trying to make this funny, and you will not stop like getting mad about dismantling the entire industrial system. It's like, I don't think that's going to happen. So you should probably chill on that. Like, we're not going to dismantle the banking systems or anything. And,
Yeah.
but yeah, like, so what are, I know you're not political, but if I could just, in our primitive ways,
Yeah.
what are some of the, cause we got Trump dog doing his thing. What are some of the politics in your, that's stuff that you care about? Is there anything political that you care about right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and with that, what you're talking about, like the left leaning, they always want to get angry with stuff. Like, there's so many things that they like really gets them going, and they just want to like. My biggest issue is like, yo, like I'll run the isolationist policy. You want to talk about all this transgender, whatever, misgendering? Like, you could do that. Just don't jam it down my throat. I really don't care if you want to be a he, they, she, they, whatever. Like, I don't really understand it, but like as long as you just don't tell me about it, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
kind of how I roll with that policy or like
Yeah.
those politics. But it's definitely a little bit nuts. There's got to be. I don't know how you feel about it, but it's definitely a bit nutty some of the stuff they
Yeah.
do. Oh, but both sides. It's not just the left. I mean,
Yeah.
far right and far left are both problems.
Exactly. That's what I always say too, is that it's like the same problems exist on both sides. And if you're going to complain about one side, you've got to realize the hypocrisy of both sides, especially
Yeah.
as you go towards the extremes. You know what I'm saying? And man, politics, I tell you, I don't know why people care about it. It doesn't even affect, like, as I've grown up through my 20s and my 30s, it's society is set up good. It's like
Yeah.
it's easy to make money. Like people complain about here's one for you, because I do a lot of real estate investing. Do you have a hard out at any time here? Do you need to, are you looking at a
No,
clock?
I'm chilling.
No.
By the way,
Okay.
I'm also in real estate too.
Yeah. So there you go. So you know what I'm saying. Like inflation will always be there. We want properties to go up. We don't want them to stagnate and be worth the same year after year
Yeah.
after year. They have to keep going up. And people who are like, "Oh, housing is too expensive." It's not. Mortgage it, get a job, keep it for 6 months, get a mortgage and buy a house. Rent out a
Yeah.
it's not hard to rent out a basement. Like in my experience, I have had no issue. I own 3 properties now. I have no issue with just acquiring them and paying for them. There's no issue.
Yeah.
Just with basic knowledge, just with basic abilities on Facebook Marketplace, where you're like, hey, here's some tenants, pay for my rent for my mortgage,
Yeah.
and we're rocking.
It's just in general, people want to complain. It definitely is more on the left than the right, and I think that's kind of there's a work ethic thing. And even following up on earlier, we talked about like the politics, like all much more liberal people. You're
Yeah,
gonna see in the U.S. 18 to 25-year-old, especially male, are becoming more and more conservative, just because it's getting so out of hand. All these the politics. And people are
Yeah.
like, oh, New York City is unaffordable. Yeah, well, don't go live in New York City then. I at least live in South Carolina. It's
Yeah.
very affordable.
Yeah, like you can. That's my point. Is cars exist, bro? Go live in a small town. You can get a house
Yeah.
for 20K, and like
You can't get that here.
here we have small towns where you can get a house for like 20K, 50K, and people are still complaining. And then, like you said, to do with the laziness of the left,
Yeah.
let's just point at that right now, because just like there's a bit too much exclusion going on the right, there's so on the left. Literally, this girl on the pod, she said it. She's like, "I'm a leftist, so I don't live my life to be productive." It's like, oh,
What?
what? She said that. It's. I made a clip of it. She
That's the
said
problem.
that is the problem, and she doesn't see that. And it's like she wants to be like. I'm gossiping a bit too much here. Sorry, but like it's like she was complaining about factories and like, oh, there's these factories that manufacture shit and it gives people cancer and that's evil. And it's like, okay, so you want us to completely reverse the entire industrial revolution because 1 out of 10,000 people get sick. It's like
Yeah.
we can't do that. We can't do that. And
It's nuts.
how else are we going to make our shit?
Yeah.
How else am I going to
Really?
How else am I going to get my graphite hockey stick if there isn't factories cooking up the goddamn chemicals to make my hockey stick?
Seriously. No, I'm with you. Like, I think one of the not policies, but like in general with the politics is the food. Like the US, we have a real issue with what companies are allowed to sell and count as food. Like I definitely I'm trying to push more people to eat like whole foods, like go eat steak, go eat eggs, go eat fruit, vegetables. Any single ingredient that great grandma would have seen in the store or bought. All these new things, these concoctions of not food, that like processed garbage.
Yeah.
That is really my gripe. That's probably my biggest political gripe. And like that's not people's worry. Like, oh, like you're worried about those cancer. How about all those obese, fat, chubby kids that now we have? I want to say it's like adults over 25 or something like that in the US are like 50% of adults have pre-diabetes or diabetes.
Yeah.
Like let's look into that.
Yeah, and if I could just jump in, I mean, honestly, the crazy part is there is options. Like people are like, "Oh, we got all this horrible food with GMOs and all this stuff." The reality is you can still go to a grocery store, get steak, get apples, get
Yeah.
fucking carrots, and they're fine. Like
Yeah.
it's the laziness because people don't want to cook. So back to the laziness again.
Yeah.
People don't want to cook their own raw stuff. They want to. If you're going to go and buy a boxed meal, like some sort of a Stouffer's pre-made
Yeah.
thing, like rice with all this preservatives in it in a bag, where you just you open the bag and you put it in the microwave, and you've got a stir fry. Great, but that is never going to be as good as something else. And if you're not able to, just in your own shopping practices, identify that,
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to say that these people deserve cancer or no? I don't know. But like, I mean,
I wouldn't say they deserve it, but
No.
like, are you surprised when you have diabetes? Because
Yeah.
they're always too busy. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? They're too busy. All they're doing is they're just looking for fucking ways to jam shit down people's throat. Is
Yeah.
what they're busy doing.
yeah, just like how it's like if you want to go buy a house, if you're too lazy to like, you think you deserve to just have a fucking house. Like if you're too
Yeah.
lazy to diversify this much, where you spend a couple hours in a month putting up an ad and finding tenants to just put in your
Yeah.
basement and have two people live in your basement, you'll never see them, and then you still get the whole main floor. What's the problem?
It's actually in the U.S. the housing market that actually is a legit issue, though. I do feel bad that you can work harder, and there are ways to do it. First of all, go buy I'm like right now, like I'm looking to buy a place with a friend. Like between our two incomes, we're gonna be able to get a place. But in my hometown, which by the way, it's a nice. I live on the beach essentially. I live in a little beach town off the coast from Long Island, which is not far from New York City. This is probably one of the most expensive areas in the country. Like just like the New York City surrounding area, just like LA surrounding area.
Yeah.
So like in my hometown, you really can't buy a place for under like 800,000.
Yeah,
which
and that's
is
tough. And I agree with you. That is tough. Even with the renting, you can't overcome that unless you
No.
get a gross mortgage where the bank's just going to fuck you. I agree with that. And you're completely right there. But again, as we said
you
earlier,
could go elsewhere though.
the reality is, go move to Virginia, go move to Louisiana.
Yeah.
And again, if you're too afraid of that, then we can jump into this can bleed into the global warming discussion as well too, where it's like, everybody's all afraid about global warming because they have their beach house and the water might rise a little bit. Again, move. If moving
Yeah.
is that hard on your psyche or getting out of the town you grew up in, I mean, you're gonna have to just grow up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's
Because
also too with, sorry to interrupt you
yeah,
there.
go ahead.
I'll say like it's the same thing. Like I think I don't know if it's a left thing too. Like the vegan, vegetarian, they're like the faux meat stuff is like hyper processed in factories. It's way worse from you, and it's way worse for the environment than like you go eating a nice piece of steak or some ground beef or some chicken.
Yeah, exactly. But
It's
yeah, man, just to lap it back around a little bit, your companies are Penalty Box Productions, Sunday Chirps, where you guys do the hockey chats, and you've got your golf apparel company and all that. So, like, a little bit more about that. What is a little bit more of a detailed description of your vision for these podcasts? Like, do you have some goals? Do you have what are your favorite things to talk about on the shows? Sorry, this is too many questions in a row here, but I just want to hear
yeah,
more about your podcast because my
definitely.
podcast is, I guess it's turned into like, it's a comedy podcast. It's turned more into like, I'm in the early stages where I'm just kind of meeting a lot of people, building a big group of people. So, and the first episodes that I do with people are always a lot of questions and like, who are you? What are you doing? And all that kind of a thing. And I'm sure it will develop from there. So that's what I do, and it's a lot of questions, and it's like kind of feels like a bit of an interview. But so that's what I do, and I keep it laughing. I keep it light because it's weird when you talk with people. It's almost best. That's why I take the comedian standpoint. Like I would love to do your kind of a standpoint where it's like I'm this. This is what I do, and but I find that the best. I wipe the ego right off it, and I'm just like, hey, I'm a nobody. Let's hear about you. And
Yeah,
if you keep the language simple, like, and I notice this a lot with the leftist girl that I just talked about, but with a lot of people, they like to use a lot of big words and because they like to feel smart while they're talking about the politics and stuff. I would much rather talk about it in simple language where everybody can understand it and we can just chat about it and nobody's trying to be smarter than the other person or trying to win. That's the conversations I'm trying to brew up on mine. And then it's like, and I let it go where it wants to go. And like, sure, with this Heather girl, she brought us to this confrontational area, and
always do.
yeah, and I just let it happen. And sure, and that's good too. It's entertaining, and honestly, probably one of the most entertaining episodes I've ever made with her. If you're looking for controversy, because we were fighting the whole episode. But so that's what I'm after. That's my shtick is the comedy thing. Like I don't necessarily do stand up comedy that much, but I still do believe that podcasting is kind of a performing thing. Like we're performing right now in a way.
Yeah.
And but what are you after? What's kind of your angle with what you're up to?
Yeah, so basically, as of like really in the last like 2 months, I've been thinking about this too. It's something I think about like what is the value I bring? So if it's not like hockey analytics, if it's not golf analytics, like why would someone listen? So I love your stand with the Joe Rogan stuff. I think like honestly, I'm biased, but I feel like hockey guys in general, they really get snapped around a little bit more. Like you could definitely talk, like we could snap around and talk for forever about like God knows what.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a really valuable. I love and kind of what I was thinking about was doing something similar to you with like the host and bringing on guests to chat every week,
Yeah,
just because it's so hard to.
because what you want to avoid, just remember your train of thought there. Because what you want to avoid is people being like, "Hey, I thought I came here to talk about hockey. Why are you asking me about that?" And it's
Yeah.
like, "No, we're here to talk about everything."
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so with that, like I love this like the Joe Rogan standpoint, and it's so hard for me to coordinate. Like we have like a group chat of five of us now that like will host. So we all do Sunday trips and we all do overtime checks now. Whereas like I was like where do the lines cross? And we're like also trying to get everyone coordinate five people to show up to like an episode. It's a fucking nightmare.
It's a challenge.
So I was like, do I just do it solo and do kind of what you're doing, which I
Yep.
love.
It's good to
Um,
have full control over it, yeah, because then people leaving isn't a big problem, and it's so hard to coordinate people. And naturally, when you have more people, you're going to have some people who are like, why are we talking about the dumb thing Trump just did? It's like,
yeah,
oh, because we're trying to talk about the topical stuff that people will click on. We're
yeah.
ultimately we're talking for 2 hours right now to try to find several clips that we can put on social media to bring as many people to us as we can. And the only way we
Exactly.
can do that is to get people uncomfortable, get people saying something dumb like women's hockey players have a fucking chance, And but like there's other things too. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, back to you. Like your stuff there.
Yeah. So basically, like I was like talking about it and trying to figure out what's the best. But like Overtime Chicks, she runs her Instagram. She is a social media wizard. So like she is a huge asset to the team. And so I'm trying to get her to do more stuff for Sunday Chirps. But basically, you have Pounce Box Productions, overlays, then you have Sunday Chirps and Overtime Chicks. So we all do both now. And there's whoever's available. Like if we get like 3 out of 5 that episode, I'm always on every Sunday Chirps, and she's always on any Overtime Chicks. And then sometimes, like, whoever can make what, we'll just roll with and bring guests on each. So I've been honestly, so real quick. So Overtime Chicks is hockey. Sunday Chirps is locker room. It's kind of like the Joe Rogan style, but you have like 3 to 5 hosts every week. And like, we'll try to bring guests on if we can, but otherwise we'll just snap it around. We'll do a couple little segments that are funny. And just like your locker room, you just snap around with the fellas or gals, whatever you want to say.
I think that's so genius that, like I have a female producer myself. She's not sitting in today, but but I think it's so genius that because the Sunday Chirps is kind of so male directed, it's genius that you brought in the Overtime Chicks thing to be a part of your thing. But again, if that relationship breaks down, again, you're still doing fine. But like it's so genius to have both things.
Appreciate it. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I think that's huge for the hockey. How many like girls could snap it around about hockey? And she with Overtime Chicks, before I kind of came on, she never played hockey growing up. So her like value isn't that like spitting chicklets, like we know everything hockey. She's bringing all these new girls and even some guys too into the world of hockey, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, and what's funnier than like the girls love the lingo. We know that all girls want athletes, all girls want whatever kind of guys, but like they all want to see those interactions. It's funny to see girls who don't know all the lingo talk with the guys who know the lingo, and there's lots of girls out there who would love to watch Sunday Chirps and be like, okay, how can I talk with these guys if I'm around my buddies who are the hockey players? How can I impress them with learning the banter? And that's a huge value with what you're doing for sure. And it's also good to get. It seems like you have a lot of friends and like you got all these connections where you can get so many people on. Because a lot of people, especially where I'm from, they're afraid of saying anything publicly. Like they don't want to be on camera. They don't want things to be preserved because it'll be on the internet forever. So what I run into is a lot of people who are fearful about talking publicly.
That's my First Amendment, baby. Freedom of speech.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems yeah.
No, go ahead.
It seems like you're able to get a lot of people on who kind of have no fear.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're kind of right. I think that's kind of the beauty of like, it's definitely the left doesn't love it, but that's the beauty of my amendments. I have the freedom of speech. I mean, as long as I'm not like threatening someone's life, you really have the extent of you could say whatever you'd like. Yeah. I know my home friends, like my high school friends, will chirp me all the time, but like I go to my like Long Beach, where I live, is like it's like a big, very community based town, so everyone kind of knows everyone. So like, but I'll have people like every time I go out to the bars, they're like Sunday Chirps. Yeah. Or like they'll just come up to me at the bars because I know them and it's nice. But I think just the nice thing is I'm just not afraid to go reach out. Like my new thing, I'm not a big TikTok guy, but like when I go to post clips, I'll open it up and it'll be like I'll see all these like PWHL girls or like Division I hockey girls, whatever. Because like I guess it's like altering to like all the hockey content. Yep. And I'll just like comment. They're like, there's like a trend right now. I don't know trends well, but I see it's these girls will be like, oh, I like hockey. He goes, oh, like who's your favorite team? And then like the next slide is like, I play hockey. Like what a miss by you. And I'll comment like, yo, Bud's a fucking pigeon. Come snapping around the pod. And like girls will get back to me on this. So I'm like, I've been just trying to like comment on more Instagram and TikTok. Yeah. And I'll just be like, yo, come snap around with the boys or like girls.
Yeah, any commenting becomes, that's what's cool about what we do too, is that's what I saw as the big power, because you kind of turning social media, because everybody always complains that social media is bad for you and all this kind of thing. But if you do what we're doing, it kind of turns it in your favor where all of it benefits you. You know what I'm saying? 100%. But yeah, part of it, like I run into a lot of the same things where the boys they chirp. because just like yoga, okay, here's an analogy. I'm an analogy guy, but just like yoga,
Yeah,
right?
fucking rights.
It's a little bit, yoga's a little bit kind of feminine, and so is this. So is like chatting and gossiping and doing this. But at the end of
Yeah,
the day, man, how are you going to be a full person if you can't, come to terms with both your feminine side and your masculine side and connect it all together?
100%.
You shouldn't be afraid of that. And but yeah, God, I get chirped as well. And but I don't know. You got to learn to love it, I guess, right?
Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I like. It's like, what do I care what my boys think about? Like, as far as like if I'm enjoying it, like, I don't care. Like, I'm sure when you were listening back to the first few episodes, like, yo, I sound like a fucking jerk off, like, on these pods, like, and listening to yourself, like, when my like, even like my boss at work, like, I'll be like working, and then I'll hear like a clip pop up of like me, and
Yeah.
he's like watching a clip from Sunday Chirps, like, oh, fucking a, like,
Totally,
what are we
man.
doing?
Yeah, totally, dude. It is so hard to, and because I'm sure you do a little bit of your editing. It is so hard. The hardest part is watching yourself back and being like, "Fuck, I sound like a goddamn idiot." And but you know what though? And this is really the bedrock of it all. Me personally, in my own life, like the amount I feel I've become a better speaker. I feel like I've become better at all these things from forcing myself to watch these clips and
Yeah,
to, okay, don't interrupt, don't say and ah and all these things. Like yeah, it's so beneficial to like just being a person and as a whole. And but then the problem is you end up, if once you train that a little bit, you start to be like, you're being around people who don't have that same commitment to being like, hey, I got to make sure I'm interesting to talk to. You come around somebody who's just like gives an ear beating, and it's like, fuck, like you just took 5 minutes to tell me that you went to the store, and you know
yeah,
what I
I
mean?
get it. I know
Yeah,
what you're saying. And with the guests too, I think more as of recent, I really haven't had a ton of guests since the girls came on full time. But I think that's a value too, especially for women. Like bring on like PWHL or like even just like college hockey or just like girls that like hockey. It definitely, I think, like I wouldn't say we're more intimidating, but like going to snap around with three hockey guys has got to be a little bit more intimidating than
yeah,
like two girls and two guys, and like it's
yeah,
more comforting, I would think.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did a pod. I think it was like maybe 20 episodes ago with a guy named Travis Ridgen, and he's he's a professional hockey player. He played in Europe, but he's like super good on the social media. He has like over 100K YouTube subscribers. His Instagram and TikTok have like
Damn.
over 200K followers, and he does the same thing. He's partnered with this radio guy. Uh, in I think they're in Winnipeg, and they bounce back and forth between there and BC. And man, they're just killing it. They're doing basically hockey banter and chit chats about topical stuff, politics, just saying kind of fringe stuff. And yeah, I mean,
Hell yeah.
yeah, I forget why I brought that up, but just yeah, there is a lot of that going on, and man,
I think
pretty sweet. But I just wanted to say I love what you do. I think the podcast that you do is great, and I can't wait to see it blow up, man. It's already doing good because you haven't been doing it for that long. How long have you been doing it?
Sunday Chirps, like just over 2 years now.
Just over 2 years, right? Like you're blowing up fast, much faster than I am, and that's great to see, man. And I think you're gonna keep rolling, and it's good to see. Well, I'd say that this is an episode, dude. So I just want to say again, thanks for doing the show. And do you have anything that you want to just say at the end there?
No, I appreciate it. And
Okay,
yeah, it was an absolute pleasure being on. Thanks for
cool.
having me.
Yeah. So everybody out there, just go to Instagram or go to. Do you have a website?
Yeah, penaltyboxpro.com.
Okay,
All things.
penaltyboxpro.com. Go find Sunday Chirps. I'm sure you can just Google it or go to Instagram and go buy some Primo golf apparel. And yeah, man, thanks a lot. That's Jarrod Pine.
Thanks for having me.
Episode who knows what. That's Canadian Talk. All right.